everybody, welcome back to This Random Journey. Today is day 19 of our book a week challenge, and I am still reading in Atomic Habits. I read 2 chapters today. I read chapter 4 and chapter 5, and I also read 5 chapters in my Bible, still in 2 Kings in my Bible, still talking a lot about the kings that came and that kind of thing. There was a couple stories in there this time. One being King, I always can't remember people's names. I want to say Habakkuk, but that's not right. Not even close. Hezekiah, King Hezekiah, that's what it was. King Hezekiah, and how he was told by the prophet Elisha that he was going to die, and then he turned his face to the wall and he prayed that he would not die, obviously. And the prophet came back and said, the Lord has heard you and you will not die. So that was the story that stuck out to me in my Bible reading this morning. In the book Atomic Habits, I read, like I said, chapter 4 and 5. Chapter 4 was The Man Who Didn't Look Right. That was the title of it. And basically it was talking about scoring your habits. And I had never thought about this before, but basically...
Did you tell them about the honeybees yet?
I hadn't. I was gonna. What are you doing?
There was a honeybee in the house.
What? Don't let him out. Okay, we'll go free him outside, but you guys see the honeybee? Remember when I was freaking out the other day about bees?
This one got in the house.
Yeah, this one got in the house. I will throw up actually some pictures for you guys to see over here. Over by like our neighbor's house. So the honeybees that was trying to make a nest on our porch, I guess decided that was not a good place, but they thought this pole in our neighbor's yard, or on the corner of our neighbor's yard, would be the perfect place. And so they swarmed it today and like overtook the entire thing. Well, my neighbor called me and said, do you know anybody who handles bees, honeybees? Of course, I know a couple different people. So I reached out to the first person that I know, and I asked her, and she said that she didn't have any hives available, but that she would look around or search around for somebody who could use them. And then my son's friend from school, his mom and grandpa, they have honeybees, and they actually sell honey. So we gave him a holler, and his grandpa came right over and took care of getting the bees into his little box. And he said that if another swarm comes, because the queen's scent will still be on that pole for a while, said that if there's another swarm, to call him again, and he'll come out again and get the next set. So that's pretty cool. So those bees hopefully are gone, and I won't have to run off the porch anymore whenever I'm videoing. If you guys don't remember that video, you can go back and rewatch it. I can't remember what day it was, but I think it was the day that most of you got a good laugh out of me, because I was facing my fears while reading a book about fears. And it was also the day, like, there was an airplane, there was a train, there was dogs barking, there was, I can't remember, there's all kinds of stuff happening, and I just couldn't get away from the craziness, so it was funny. Back to today. In the Atomic Habits book, it was talking about habit scoring. And it talked about whenever you have habits you do every day. So like you get up, you make your bed, you brush your teeth, you start the coffee, you drink the coffee, all the things you do throughout the morning or throughout the entire day. And how some of those are good habits, some of them are bad habits, and some of them are just neutral. It doesn't matter. Either way, one way or other, whatever you want to do, like, going and brushing your teeth is probably a good habit. But there's other things like making the coffee that doesn't necessarily fall into good or bad. It's just a habit that you go and get that going for the day. So that'd be a neutral habit. And it talked about something called, and I thought this was so neat, called pointing and calling. And it's a technique that they use, I think it was in Japan, the train conductors use. They point at things and they call it out. So like they point to a light as they're coming through and they say the light is green, the speed is this, the whatever, they just point to everything. And that way they reduce errors in what's happening around them because they're more aware. It said they actually reduced errors by 85%. And it cut accidents by 30% when they implemented that. It's a safety system designed to reduce mistakes, basically. It's effective because it raises the level of awareness from a non-conscious habit to a more conscious level. And many of our failures and our performances are largely attributed to lack of self-awareness. And that can be, that's very true, I think, that we really need to be more aware of ourselves and what we are doing. So they said that we should implement this kind of thing into our life, in our personal life. And it talked about the point and call an action in our life and how we need to say it out loud. So one thing that it said we should do is like if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to not eat junk food all the time and there's a cookie and you're wanting to eat the cookie, you're supposed to they gave a whole phrase here, I'll just say it. You point to the cookie, you say, I'm about to eat this cookie, but I don't need it. Eating it will cause me to gain weight and hurt my health. So you literally point to whatever it is you're getting ready to do, and then you talk about the thing that you're about to do. So I'm going to eat this cookie. I don't need this cookie. It's going to be bad for me, so I don't need to eat it. And so it says that actually verbalizing it and pointing at it and visualizing what you're getting ready to partake in will actually reduce your likelihood of doing the bad habit, because you're going to understand, I don't really need to do that thing that I was going to do. So that was basically what number 4 was about. Number 5, chapter number 5 was the best way to start a new habit. These titles to these chapters, I put them in the center of my little graph thing, because I'm doing these graphs now. And they don't, in my opinion, it just doesn't really go with all the little things I put around it. So maybe I'm doing something wrong there. I'm not 100% sure. But at least you guys know what the title of the chapter was. My stomach is growling so loud. You guys probably can hear it. I'm so sorry. So it talked about implementation intention. And it was really, this chapter was really cool because it was talking about putting a time and a place, a day, a time, and a place, all in for your habit. So they did studies on this, and he gave all the studies and the statistics and all that kind of thing. They said if you really want to improve a habit, or you want to get a good habit instilled, you need to have the behavior, whatever the behavior is. So I want to exercise. You don't just say I want to exercise. You say I will exercise at 2:00 at the gym. So then it is very specific. And he even said, he gave an example from his life when he had made one. It was similar, but he had left out some key details. So let me try to remember what his was. It was he wanted to do push-ups on his lunch break. So he talked about how he couldn't get it to establish, and he's trying to figure out why. Because he had I'm going to do it on my lunch break. I'm going to do push-ups. I'm doing it on my lunch break. So it's at this time. And so he said, but it wasn't specific enough. So then he changed it to say, as soon as I shut my laptop on my lunch break, I will do push-ups. So I'm going to do push-ups after I shut my laptop. That's when I'm going to do it. So it was more specific. He said the more specific you can be, the better. So I thought that was pretty cool. Be very specific. Then he talked about habit stacking, and basically, if it's called the, hopefully I get this Right, the Ditter Rot Effect is what it's called. And it's the obtaining a new possession. It says that obtaining a new possession often creates a spiral of consumption that leads to additional purchases. And so it's actually based off this gentleman, the Ditter Rot. I can't remember his first name. He was gifted some money from a wealthy person for, I can't remember why, but anyways, and so he used the money and he bought himself a really fancy robe. Well, then he saw the fancy robe and everything around him wasn't very fancy that he owned. And so he wound up buying another thing to make the robe look more in place. And then he bought something else because then that didn't look in place, and it just kind of went throughout his whole house until his whole house was nice enough to be around this robe, basically. So basically it's whenever you take, it says no behavior happens in isolation. So basically it's where you, it's compounding. So he said what you need to do is put a new habit you're wanting to establish right before or right after an established habit. And I'm trying to think of one like off the top of my head. Oh, he was like, if you want to start giving your husband more affection, say whenever I lay down in bed, I will give my husband a kiss on the cheek before bed. So then you would be doing that thing that you wanted. And then the other thing he said, like if you wanted to become a better reader, or you want to read at night before bed, then set yourself up for that. So whenever you make your bed in the morning, go ahead and put a book, whatever book it is, on your pillow. And that way it's there and you are setting yourself up for success in the evening. I thought that was really cool. It says, so after a current habit, I will now do this new habit, is the formula. And it says the key is to tie your desired behavior into something you already do every day. So that's basically it. That was the 2 chapters. It seems like he does, so right now we're doing the, the cue part. So yesterday we talked about how there's the 4 different things, the cue, the cue, see if I have it right here real quick. The cue, here it is. The craving, the response, and the reward. So those 4 things. So basically he's going in depth on each one of those in the next few chapters. So it was more the cue this time that he was talking about in these 2 chapters. Kind of getting you and trying to make you think broader about each one of those 4 things is what I think he's doing. So that was it, guys. I hope you liked it. I know it's kind of sporadic again today. You think, I thought these notes things was really helping me stay on task and stay focused, but it's not. Maybe it's just because I'm not doing it right. I think maybe I need to work on what I write down, like specifically. Maybe that'll help me to stay on task a little bit better. Anyways, yeah, that's it. I hope you guys liked it. I will see you again tomorrow. Wow, my stomach is growling so loud. So I am still doing my 3-4 fasting. If you couldn't tell, today is day 1 of my 3-4 fasting for this week. And my stomach's telling me about it.